Okay.
Okay, so the other day you were asking me about kind of some investment properties, since it's just me and you. How about
Hmm.
we dive into that a little bit? What what
Okay.
what have you got for me, and what are you trying to accomplish?
So right now it's been rough, just because my childcare had went to Nigeria. So right now it's just been me and my wife. Sometimes when she is working, she'll have to leave, and I'm on daddy duty. Um, so that's been kind of rough to get the ball rolling in that regards. But I did have a person that was interested. We haven't formally signed anything yet. I know that I would need to have a buyer rep agreement or some type of lease agreement or a listing agreement signed before even moving forward. But
Yeah,
whenever you
so the first
say,
things you would want to get signed is your IABS, your information about brokerage services, and your buyer's representation agreement. So
okay, get that signed first before the 1031 exchange.
that's the first thing you want to have signed when you pick up a new buyer, correct?
Okay, so if someone is wanting to, okay, that makes sense. First is just having them sign a lease listing agreement, having them sign the buyer agreement for this type of
Right, so
thing.
if you're taking on the listing, oh, so the 1031 exchange. So if they're wanting to sell their house first, but they're also wanting to buy, you can
Hmm.
simultaneously do the listing agreement with the buyer's representation agreement, because they're gonna
Okay.
be in a buyer in the end game, correct? So
Yes.
to explain to if Mohammed or another viewer jumps on, a 1031 exchange is they're trying to legally abate paying taxes. So what that does is
Hmm.
that puts money that you make from the house you're selling into an escrow account per se. And then that money is only to be used for the next purchase. So if that money is done through the 1031 exchange and through the right people holding that money, then you can avoid taxes. Of course, I would advise him that he needs to take up the advice of his CPA, right? Because we're
Hmm.
not CPAs, and we're certainly not lawyers. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of legality that falls into that 1031 exchange. And a lot of that legality, you need to make sure that you're not misrepresenting that. Okay.
Okay.
So, but a good place to start would be his CPA. Okay. And then a second place to start would be, like I said, over the phone, where you contact the title company that you have a relationship with and see who they have to use to hold the funds, right? Because you want it
Okay.
held in a professional hands, right? Not somebody that's potentially gonna take the money, because there is
Yeah.
fraudulent people out there, unfortunately. So his CPA might have some good suggestions for that too, but it has to be
Okay.
done within a certain time frame as well.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of rules that have to fall into that. So
Okay. All right. And then in regards to buying a commercial, unit that has multiple units over four, um, how long is essentially the same time frame as residential 1 to 4, or is it mostly it could it could extend, I don't know, however long?
yeah, that's a good question. It's kind of a loaded question. Let me share my screen here. Now, if it's a pretty simple deal, like maybe a 4 unit complex, then no, it really wouldn't take much longer than a traditional house to close. If you're looking at an apartment complex, then yes, it would most certainly take longer to close, depending on
Okay.
depending on the situation and how his loan and lender is set up. So a lot of the legwork that he needs to do, or you need to help him with up front, um, is to help him with go ahead and have him get with a lender. Because if he, and I'm not saying that he's not, But if he needs to get first things I do when I pick up a new buyer, whether they're buying a freaking $1 million apartment complex or they're buying a $100,000 mobile home, is
Mhm.
I have them get with a lender and go ahead and get pre-qualified. Because without that pre-approval letter or the lender backing, saying, yes, he is, he's, that obviously doesn't mean you're funded and you got the clear to close, but it means the
Mhm.
lender is giving the good faith that this guy can borrow money, okay, up
Okay.
to a certain amount. And without that pre-qualification letter, you might as well just sit and spin your wheels in the dirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay. So to make sure that I'm clear, focus, even though this is a complex deal, always focus on the fundamentals, right? The
Correct.
pre-qualification letter or proof of funds, obviously having them sign the buy rep agreement and the listing rep agreement
With the
simultaneously.
IABS. Yes, sir.
Then okay, makes perfect sense. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's big or
I was
small, you always have to do the steps, right?
Mhm.
So big or small, and he's gonna probably have a lender lined up if this guy has been doing this for a while, or
Yeah.
he's not new at the game. But and he might go, man, I've got plenty of money. Why do I need all that? It's like, look,
Mhm.
because and I stress to my buyers, because if I find you a deal, and I know that you may not be ready to buy tomorrow, but if I find you a deal that's hot to trot, we're dead in the water unless I have a pre-approval letter. Not one agent is going to take one sniff at your offer unless it's followed
Mhm.
by a pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
It's just not happening because the contract's worth nothing without a pre-approval letter. Nothing. And if he's going to roll all the cash into his house, then that's fine. I get it. Then he wouldn't need a pre-approval letter. He'd be paying cash. But then that's
Mhm.
where he would need to do some sort of CMA or analysis on his house to see if there's enough cash in there to do that. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Um, and then you would have to back out the closing costs as well. So
What do you
there.
mean about back at the closing costs?
So let's say I sell my house for 300,000. I owe Cornerstone Mortgage 200,000. Well, I'm not going to clear $100,000 because I've got
Mm.
closing
Okay.
costs.
Yeah.
Closing costs consist of paying your commission, and
Mhm.
of that commission, you've got to pay the other agent, 3%. So 6%, you get 3, they get 3. That's 6% in commission right there. The buyer's going to ask him to pay title policy. That's about another percent. And then there's some miscellaneous title company fees that roll into that. So when I'm listing a
Okay.
house, I use this app that's really good at estimating closing costs. But if you just want a general rule of thumb is 7.5% closing costs when you're on the seller side. Okay.
Okay.
6% commission, 1% title policy, and then a half a
Mhm.
percent goes to the title company. And they say, why?
Okay.
Well, because title companies don't work for free. They're going to charge a closing fee or a settlement fee, which is basically because you're closing at their title company office, and they're going to charge some doc prep fees and some recording fees because they're not going to record the deed and stuff for free. I mean,
Okay.
and the county clerk charges money anyway, even if they didn't charge any fees. One of the things that they have to record, this is from one of my files. It was a brand new home, the Weston home. It was, here's the deed. It's saying that my buyer, Ann, bought this house, and this is public record, by the way. You can go to the
Mhm.
county courthouse and pull this. Because the two things that are recorded at the county courthouse is the deed and the deed of trust. The deed is the title, basically, for lack of better words. So if I bought a four-wheeler, I would get the title with it, right? Well,
Mhm.
it's a special warranty deed. In this case, it's usually a general warranty deed, but brand new homes typically only give a special warranty deed because they only are guaranteeing conveyance from them to the buyer. But that's okay because there was no house before this. They built it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and it, sometimes it'll say the dollar amount, and sometimes it'll say like $10 and consideration funds for consideration. But here it says $10 and other good funds and valuable consideration. But then since they had a note on this, note, and it's describes that there's a note. But the deed of trust will describe how much they owe as well. Because that deed of trust is also called the foreclosure document, and that's to secure the bank's interest in the property, that she can't just walk away and not pay the bill, basically.
Okay.
And that only the seller pays this. So what my point of the matter is they are trying to they're trying to transpond this house into their next investment property, and 1031s are honestly, they're pretty rare. Most of the time my sellers, they sell a property and they just want to buy their next hot property to live in. And and of course you always want to tell them to talk with their CPA if they've lived in the house generally for at least 2 years, and they're only moving out because they're selling it. You don't pay income tax on that because it was your homestead. So there's no reason to abate the taxes. But it sounds like this guy had an investment property, so whatever profit he makes he would have to pay taxes in.
Yeah.
So what the state or the government's doing is, if you roll those profits over into a new home, they're saying using the 1031 program, then therefore, of course, talking to a CPA, he doesn't in theory have to pay the taxes on it. So, but you always want to have him refer to a CPA and make sure that's in writing via an email or something else. So if I'm going to collect this buyer, I'm going to get a listing agreement. I'm going to go ahead and follow it up with the buyer's representation agreement and the IABS. So, and you can follow your DA checklist, because like I go ahead and when I had them sign the listing agreement, I go ahead and have them sign the other forms as well. Like there's information about flood insurance. There's information about homeowners insurance. So there's a checklist that I go ahead and just send them to all at once. Makes your life easy. They sign everything. And then in this case, if it's a regular seller, I don't normally have them sign a buyer's rep because they're just selling their home. But in this case, he's wanting to ultimately buy one too. So you might as well do that as well.
Okay.
So, okay, anyway, there's an app called Allegiance Agent One, I think. I have the app. I'm not sure how the website. Let me Google. I need Google, not that. I don't know what that is. The title company is who helped me get this app, and it's an app, so I don't know if it'll let me play it on my computer, but see, it's well, it might let me download it on my Mac. Fire hydrant. Man, they are making me do a lot of hoops, aren't they? Let's see if it'll let me download it on my Mac. So in the meantime, let me do something else. So yeah, I mean, you need to really kind of go into Matrix, and and in my YouTube channel, I also talk about CMAs. You really need to kind of, what I would do is first, I like to go to search, just a regular search, if you know it's a single family, and hit sold. And I go out as far out as it'll let me, which is 9,999 days. Anything above that, it's gonna, and then put in the address, like 21, 23, Test Street or whatever. If it's Test Street, just put test, don't put street. Less is more. And if it comes up, it'll show it right there, and then you click results. So first, I kind of like to get any kind of history of the home, see what it sold for before. Using that, you can click on the tax records. So like I'll pull up one of my listings just for my pending listings. This is one of my listings right here. So It's pretty cool. Once I pull it up, I can go to attachments and see if there was any, any surveys. I always upload everything to my listings, surveys, seller's disclosure. Every agent can grab it whenever they want. T47 survey, mud disclosure, seller's disclosure. You technically have to provide the seller's disclosure in the mud up front anyway. So you might as well upload it to HAR. I even have my title company information in here. I mean, just check it out. Literally, agents are not blowing up my phone asking me stuff because I done have it in here. So once I do that, I go back to the listing and I usually click on this or the tax right here. All these tags are good. You can even see if it's in the floodplain tax. And then I can pull up the tax records. And then I can just simply click through the photos and kind of, I mean, they may not be updated because it might have sold 10 years ago, but at least I can see what I'm working with, right?
Yeah.
So, and then heck, I can even go to 360 history and I can see if it's been on the market before. And it sure has. You read this from bottom to top, by the way. So this was the last time it was on the market. So you can see if anything upgrades were done. I can already tell that upgrades were done. The backyard has been redone. And not every agent is going to do this, but in my listings, I upload even updates and receipts for the updates if they can give that to me, because this particular house had a newer AC, and I can't call it new because it was 2018. I can say newer. But I attached the receipts. I mean, what more proof is that? Hot water heater, roof receipt, it's all in there.
Yeah.
They gave it to me. I scanned it into my computer. And then I kind of made I also go ahead and contact the HOA through the title company. This is the email I sent the title company asking me what the transfer fees were for that title company. And boom, I got the email back from the title company is your friend, man. Title company is your friend. And since they did that for me, I went ahead and said, this is the title company I want the agents to use. Of course, it's negotiable, but most of the time they just want to use the title company that you already are gonna go with anyway. So it's good to go upload that. So anyway, listing here, I mean, there's a plethora of information, but then I'm gonna want to copy the neighborhood, and I'm gonna want to go ahead and run some comps, search, and I'm gonna come back over here and click on all that, click on pending and solds. And I want to go ahead and do the subdivision. I usually do subdivision and zip code. So go ahead, sir.
Do you use Cloud CMA or Instant CMA, or do you just rather Matrix is like your preferred one? I've heard so many people that use either the Cloud CMA or different types of other CMAs, or they just strictly go within, Matrix.
That's a good one. I've never used Cloud CMA, so maybe I could learn about that and do a class on it. No, I just use Matrix. That's going to have all my MLS listings in here, and I can manipulate it however I want. I can manipulate the bedrooms or the square footage or anything like that. So no, Cloud CMA, that, maybe we should put that on our to-do list, and I can get more familiar with it with you. I'm not an end all be all. I've been doing this for 18 years, but an old dog can learn new tricks. That's for sure. So I've actually learned a lot just kind of being a mentor. I've only started being mentor since January of this year, 2022. So, but before I just did my own deals and kind of sat in my cubby hole doing my own deals. But being a mentor has made me expand my knowledge on just different platforms and marketing ideas. The basics I already know pretty well. So it's going to end in 10 minutes. But what that's the basics of it. I mean, I think I'll go over I said I would go over the CD. there was another one I wanted to show, and then my main computer, I had some sort of glitch in my office and my power went down, so that's why I'm on my laptop. We'll do that next time.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but what else did we want to know? Still got about 9 minutes left. What else did we want to know?
That I mean, for that reason, that's really it. But also prospecting. So I've been doing some pretty good, decent prospecting now. I've heard running ads is a good way to gain prospects, especially for buyer leads.
Mhm.
But I didn't know what's a good way about that? Because I know there's some templates out there that you can use for ads. What would you do? How do you get your buyers?
I mean, my Anthony was just asking me that. Leads is probably the hardest thing about our journey, because you can buy leads, but then sometimes that's not successful and you've just wasted your money. It's very hard to do. Really, it's about being in contact with your sphere, or with the people that are in your surrounding, and just posting listings that, even if they're just Texas United listings, just be consistent with it. One Texas United agent I saw, she posted one of my listings on her Facebook page. I didn't care. More advertisement for my listing. I need to sell it anyway. And she just
Yeah.
said, she didn't say my listing. She said, check out this 6-bedroom home. So my YouTube channel, I do talk about Op City, which is a good lead generating platform. That I'll have to do this Allegiant Agent One. Try getting this on your phone. It's Allegiant Agent in it. It's this one right there. It's right there. It's called
Okay.
Agent One. It's right here. Allegiant Agent One. It's an app. This is the website. It's still downloading, so I can't show it, but it works on your phone, and I'll have to add that into the next meeting as well. I do Facebook is how I do a lot of my advertising. You can even do Facebook Marketplace. I created a Facebook business page called Ryan Real Estate. My personal Facebook looks more, I would say, like a business, because I mostly use it to just post my listings. This was a buyer walkthrough I did earlier today. So any kind of business you're doing, so you show a house, take some photos. Take some photos of the outside of the house and just put it on your Facebook and say, hey, showed houses again today. Make it seem like, that's all you do 24/7 is real estate, real estate, real estate, right? I showed this commercial property,
Okay.
quick photo of the patio, and I said, even commercial property is hot. So a few friends, this is an open house we did with some of my other mentees. I have a drone that I flew after the open house, so I took that photo and went ahead and posted it. Not all real estate, because I get it. My friends might find it boring, if it's just real estate.
Yeah.
I try to make it interesting. Like, oh man, that's cool. Like HGTV, like real estate
Okay.
they're not bored of it. You might be, but they're not, because
Yeah.
they don't know what you do day in and day out. And you're not posting yourself on the computer falling asleep. You're posting cool things like that. Like, oh, I did an open house. Like, and if you got to look like you're excited about it. This was a look. I had to do a funny picture, and I just sold this brand new home, so of course I'm going to advertise it. And then Ryan Real Estate is just my business page, so that I don't post on this as much as my personal page, because I don't have as many followers, but I'm really trying to get up this and get my followers to this is no personal, this is all business stuff that
Okay.
so
Okay.
I even had my friend who has a marketing company shoot a little a commercial for me. I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel.
Oh,
So
cool.
it looks more professional than it is, I assure you, but it's going to be pretty cool. And I just advertised, doesn't that look pretty professional? So like that, and my YouTube channel, I talk about Op City. That's a good way to get going, but watch the YouTube video on it. It's entitled Op City. There are some agents in our office that have great success with
Okay.
that. One of them is in my channel. She's my guest speaker on it. And she explains that you have to go through the weeds before you get to the promised land. And yes, they do take a chunk of your commission. It's like 8%. But, and yes, the leads aren't very good at the beginning. But once you
How
prove
much?
yourself, Op City, at closing, they take 38%.
How much is it?
38%.
38%.
Yes, 38%.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
When I first started in real estate, my
Okay.
mentor took 50% of everything I did. So you, not that I'm saying that y'all getting off easy compared to me, 50%.
Yeah.
And I had to go to his house every day and be his secretary for free. That was the only way he
Oh,
would.
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
8 o'clock every day, I pulled in front of his house and went upstairs to his office and worked.
Mm.
Yep. So you just got to
Okay.
put the, time and effort and energy into it. I mean, and you get what you put into it, you know.
Okay.
Real Estate Solutions. There's another. I just sent Real Estate Solutions. Let me see. It's on my YouTube channel. No, that's not it. Anyway, it's on my YouTube channel. There's, I think I misspelled it by accident. It was just a typo, but my channel videos. But here, realleadsolutions.com.
Okay.
And then there's one on Op City right there. I mean, you really have to lead. This is paid leads that Laura girl in my video did. I've never bought any from them, so I can't tell you if it works or not, or if the leads are any good. I can just say that it's an idea, and it's right.
Okay.
So you just I got about a minute left, and then I got to go because I don't want to have to restart it all over. But
No, that's fine.
just follow your DA checklist for on your dot loop, or your,
Okay.
if you need help, I'll send you a DA checklist. Just send me an email or text me.
Okay.
And follow that. That's your guide. And go to my YouTube channel for some ideas. I'm also doing another marketing class coming up from a title company that is he's got his degree in marketing, and he's going to show how to build your surrounding influence and build your farm area. So farming is about continuing to have the people around you, whether that be in your neighborhood or your sphere of influence, constantly be reminded that you're a realtor.
Okay.
Eventually, they're going to reach out. But if your Facebook page is showing all kinds of activity, then they're going to not question, oh, is this guy new? They're going to be like, man, this guy does real estate. Man, he's always doing something. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So we'll do this again at 8:30 next Wednesday. In the meantime, just call me or text me and let me know, and we'll spend a few minutes chatting. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Glad I could be of help for now.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Reach out to me.
Okay, I will.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.